safe. You'd have them prisoners. I should rather they had escaped or lay slain in the streets of Worcester than see them now. Foolish. Is it not better to survive? Oh, yes. Sweet Jesus. Husband!
Sweet wife, save your tears.
Where are they leading you?
To the Tower of London, to be hanged, I presume.
No,
well,
never.
We're all God's children. Where do you lodge tonight?
At the Fletcher house in Southwark.
Fletcher's.
They have returned to the country. I am safe there with Lucinda.
Peter, well stocked cellar.
What are you saying? Are they? Oh, Lord, have mercy on my loved ones. Cromwell has crushed them.
Dear cousin, I share your tears for Edward and Tom. But we must think to the future, to those who God has spared, how we might free them.
Future? What future? It was all with the Scots army and Prince Charles. My dear, sweet Edward told me it was all to be resolved in one last battle.
Come to bed. You are distraught. At least for this one night we have warmth and comfort.
Warmth? Comfort?
This house, our sanctuary. I pray you told the servants I was your companion and not Lady Winter. Anne and John would like it not, I think. Ralph! My love! How have you escaped?
'Tis not escape, my love, but an hour's respite, and gold must change hands for it. I have come to see my old friend Sir Austin Fletcher. We were schoolfellows together. Is he not at home?
He is not, I told you.
My parliamentarian friend? My dear Lucinda, is there a bottle of Burgundy in the house? And some ale for my kindly captors?
We were confined within the walls of Worcester, outnumbered 2 to 1. His Sacred Majesty rode out through the Sidbury Gate to launch a frontal attack and captured some artillery which we sorely needed and would have prospered had not the Scottish horse troopers under Leslie, coward and traitor that he is, played their jade. Not one single charge did he make during the entire battle. Old Noll saw his advantage and built a bridge of boats across the Severn and drove us back within the walls. His Majesty, coming in on foot, raised our faint hope, shouting, "I had rather you shoot me than allow me to live to see the sad consequences of this fatal day."
A valiant prince.
Words, like the wise charm to the deaf adder, unheeded, our men threw down their arms as Cromwell stormed in, broke open houses, snatch, plunder the streets full of carcasses and maimed bodies, all wallowing in their own blood, the city a sea of misery.
And His Majesty?
Would surely have perished had I not believed that God covered his head that day. I last saw him with Derby and Wilmot slipping out through St. Martin's Gate.
And Edward and Tom?
Lost from sight in the clamour and smoke and slaughter.
Sir Ralph Winter.
Aye. My hour is come. Help me to my feet. And weep not, my children. Here's one survived.
What should I do now?
Go home and wait and hope.
And I, dearest husband, what would you have me do?
Stay in London, visit me at night. I'm confined in a cell in Whitehall by the bowling green. Seek out friends and raise money for my bail.
Friends? What friends?
Your friend, Sir Alston. You laces are linked by marriage, are you not? £4,000 is the price on Sir Richard Fanshawe.
4,000? Dearest husband, I can scarce put a dress upon my back.
Guile and wit, Susan. You're not lacking in either.
Sell my property if you must, but speedily, or you may find yourself a widow within the month.
Widow.
If it pleases you, young fellow. This way.
Where is the king if he's not been found among the dead?
You call him king?
For want of any other title. He's the man, Charles Stuart, and a traitor. Escaped. Followers, I think he may be headed for Wales.
Those cavemen, you'll never find him there.
But if we do find him, when we do, what's to be done with him? Do we put him on trial and behead another king, Father?
You can't. He's allied himself to Presbyterians.
Pack of plundering Scottish brigands. We've routed them. You cannot have your Presbyterian king.
I judge the alternative.
I know you do. But you say yourself England needs a monarchy, and she has but one leader.
Cromwell? Cromwell wants to be king?
It is not what Cromwell wants. It is what God, by giving us these resounding victories, has ordained.
God! Then a humble merchant's view is of no consequence.
Oh, Father. It is important we know the City of London's view. We are, after all, dependent on you.
Aye, and you do well to remember it. Well, I can't speak for others and I can't speak for God. But I say that remedy is worse than the disease. You'll alienate all who believe in a commonwealth and resolve all discussions on government into Cromwell or Stuart. If you want a king, negotiate with the boy Charles or whoever's next in line. And dissolve this wretched rump. And rule through a properly constituted parliament.
That's impossible. The king is dead. We've crushed his successor. Now, do you not hold that we must find a godly settlement of this nation?
Godly!
Stop it! Both of you. This visit was made for pleasure. For you to see your grandson and for John to have some respite from his duties. And all you've done since we arrived is quarrel.
Am I quarrelsome? Did I begin it? But I'll finish with this. If that Cromwell puts the crown of England on his round head, he'll not have my support a second longer. Have I said something to offend the lad?
A child's grave?
My son. He was strong and healthy till 6 weeks ago. And then a fever came and took him, and he was gone within the space of a day.
God will give you others.
Oh, I've no doubt he will. And will he take those too? And what kind of a world is it I bring them into? If they're spared as babes, they die as young men with pikes in their bellies or riddled with musket balls. My son.
What delays him? One question. Is it safe? Should have gone myself.
You cannot argue with him. He's a born actor and needs to rehearse his skills.
God grant his enthusiasm does not see us all hang.
You've not heard the news from Worcester? War's over.
My ears are closed to all talks of war. I leave that to my husband. And he says the fight goes on and on. Are you from Worcester? I've not seen your face around here before.
Oh, I'm no soldier. But I came upon some running from the battle and was compelled to be their guide. 2 of them knew this castle. Arnscott, is it?
What side were your soldiers?
Good woman. Can you be faithful to some distressed cavaliers?
Come with me.
We scarce had a crust of bread or a sip of water these 2 days. Our feet are wet and blistered. Grateful, mistress.
See where she leads him. His speech may have fooled her, but he walks like no woodman I ever saw.
Oh, the sight and smell of mutton.
No, you don't, young man. Where was you bred?
Born and bred in Birmingham. Son of a nailer.
Well, if you want mutton, Mr. Naylor's son, you can make yourself useful and wind this up for me. Come on.
Sir Thomas and Lord Ferrer?
2 men who knew this place, he said. And they're starving.
Who is this young man?
Oh, not like that, you great booby. Why, the veriest dunce knows how to wind this up.
It's old and stiff.
Like her. You wouldn't want to wind her up.
None so old and stiff as you, old crow, and go on, off you go.
Come here, boy. What's your name?
Will.
Will. Oh, I knew a Will once. Will Saltmarsh. He died for his king. You're taller than him by a head, but otherwise not unlike.
What's your name, old lady?
Judith Crab.
Scab?
I shall call you my Dame Judith.
I am steward of Arnscott. Mistress Jackman tells me you come to seek food for some cavaliers. In confidence, can you name them?
In confidence? No. That would be to betray their confidence.
Sharp wit, boy.
Silence, woman!
If I have misjudged this house, I ask forgiveness and bid you all good day.
Mind yourself.
Oh, Mr. Cropper, you frightened him all.
Well, why should I believe him?
Help me fill this basket.
Bread.
Who is that fella?
The King of England.
King of imbeciles.
Truly, he was a most Puritan-looking gentleman, Tom.
Mr. Cropper's countenance, sire, is no true guide to his heart. He would not betray us.
Even so, I fear we may have aroused too much interest to chance sleeping a night there.
And yet I'm loath to spend another night in an oak tree, Ned. Who's this?
'Tis good wife Margaret, sire, from my house.
Another loyal servant?
Good Margaret, you come not a moment too soon. We're weak with hunger.
I am your most obedient servant, Your Majesty.
Who is she addressing? I'm a humble woodman, ma'am. Guide to these noble gentlemen. Will Jones, my name.
By whatever name you choose, sire.
How am I discovered? Was it some fault of performance in the kitchen? Did my tongue slip?
It's not your tongue, sire. It's your stockings. The pretty trimmings. Whoever saw a woodsman wear such royal stockings?
I thank you, mistress. And commend your sharp eyes. Women are prattlers, especially loyal good wives. Does the whole house know?
I would rather die, sire, than have you discovered.
Your pardon, mistress.
Good Margaret.
The Fletchers are visiting Sir Austin and Lord at Melsham. We have word they will return tomorrow. You cannot leave him here in the open. Bring him to the back gate in half an hour and we'll make him safe for one night at least.
you go, young man. Sit over there.
Forgive us for leaving. But your quarrels and ill feelings with John are too painful a reminder of mine with my own father. I have not the stomach for them.
They're not too serious. John and I have always argued. But, you and he, is all well between you?
Of course. Does it seem to you otherwise?
No. Her father's concern and nothing more. He can ride my displeasure, but never yours.
Madam, Mr. Fletcher grows impatient. I'm coming, Emma.
The king, Hannah.
Your Majesty.
Preserve him well.
See, Your Majesty. Would Your Majesty take some bread and a pot of ale?
Thank you. This is a most welcoming, friendly place.
Margaret! That's just Lucinda.
Sir Thomas, his hair needs a trim. Aye, sir. But will you be far away? They're searching everywhere. Are you going back to Swinford?
I have forfeited my Swinford home. It's a small matter of an oath to Parliament, broken by my joining with the King again.
I shall not be far, and will return soon after dawn.
Tom!
What are you doing here? You were said to be in London.
I returned today. Margaret has told me everything. That Edward is safe, and the king...
Shh, quiet. You raise the house.
What are your plans?
We changed them by the hour. We dodged and weaved our way past Cromwell's troop these past 4 days, and I fear we shall soon be out of luck and inspiration.
If you could reach the coast, find a ship.
What?
Sir Austin has ships.
Sir Austin?
He has no quarrel with you. It's more with Parliament and John if you could hear him talk.
Oh.
Let us ride to him tonight and plead with him. If he refuses, nothing's lost. Come. I have horses waiting.
You always were the one for the madcap schemes.
I was chased into a river by an angry miller. The gravel has clung to my toes.
I'll bathe them as gently as I can, but I fear the pain I may cause, Your Majesty.
I trust your gentle hands.
I think I'm required to trim your hair, Your Majesty.
Aye. It was hacked off at my last resting place with something resembling a billhook. Can you shape it in your style?
My wife will be better able. She does mine.
Oh, go to it, husband. I'm busy with the feet. And get His Majesty some more beer. If you have to walk a long way, I could tuck paper between the toes to stop them chafing, if you wish, Your Majesty.
What I need most is new shoes. Those were given me, but I fear I have the largest feet in my 3 kingdoms.
Well, I always thought my husband had that honor.
Ah.
Gladly give Your Majesty a pair of mine.
Gladly accepted. Think you I should roughen my complexion a little? With soot from the chimney to make myself less like a courtier?
And more like a bailiff. I think walnut leaves would be gentler on Your Majesty's skin.
Walnut will turn him into a black man.
A Moor of Venice. Who shall know me then?
If you could tilt your head back, Your Majesty.
No more of Your Majesty. Mr. Jones, I am. Well, Mr. Cromwell rules in my stead.
Oh.
My nose is bleeding.
Here.
Nothing to concern you. 'Tis but a weakness from childhood.
Work of steward is not the mere keeping of accounts. You must know, defend all the customs and traditions of a great house. Captain Lecky.
Colonel Lecky, Master Steward. I'm here with authority to search this castle for traitors, and for one traitor in particular. Where are you going, boy? To sound an alarm?
What is this intrusion?
Ah, good wife Margaret. I'm surprised to see you still here with Mr. Cropper in a Parliament house.
I'm surprised to see you still in Parliament's army, Mr. Lecky. I had heard that the Lord General had weeded out all Scotsmen long since. How was it, butchering your own kinsman at Worcester?
No, do not provoke him.
No more irksome than Englishmen butchering Englishmen in 6 years of civil war. I earned my recognition the hard way at places such as this. Take heed of the good wife, and do not anger me, Mr. Cropper. I'm seeking the man who calls himself King Charles II. The news provokes a deafening silence. You have heard, have you not? There's £1,000 upon the head of the traitor Charles Stuart.
If it were £10,000, you would not find me betray him.
Any person found harbouring the king shall be pistoled on the moment of discovery. Search the castle!
Mr. Lecky, this is the house of Mr. John Fletcher. It's a Parliament house. You dare ravage it in his absence.
It is because of his absence, good wife, and because I know this house and the people in it, that a search is warranted. Nay, imperative.
It is an abomination.
Oh, let him search. He will find nothing.
Oh, you foolish man.
What is it?
Look for yourself.
Shall I wake him? What are you doing? No!
I've got to defend him. He's a king of England, in my care.
You'll kill us all, sure as anything, if you start shooting.
You want him to march in. Take him. That's certain death.
Could pretend that he's your cousin, Will Jackman, sick with the plague. They'll not linger if we tell them that.
Cousin Will, am I?
Oh, Your Majesty, there's troopers outside.
I can play the woodman, I can play the sick man. I'll show him the palsied feet. Pray you, remove the cloth from him, and tell your brave husband the king requires he lays down his pistol.
As you wish.
Cease your search at once. I order your colonel. Cease, I say, back your heads. You uncouth rogues, inside. All of you. Come on, all of you.
Back to the house, man.
Inside. Come on. Well, I'm first to commend your zeal, Colonel Lecky. But I do assure you, a change has come about this house since last you were here, and I should be very surprised indeed if it were now harbouring cavaliers.
It was indeed the certainty that there are no such persons that obliged me to agree to Colonel Lecky searching...
My husband lets you off lightly, Mr. Lecky. I say it is an outrage that you should enter my house, knowing of our absence, and frighten our people with your bullying ways.
Madam, there is a proclamation by Parliament for the discovery and apprehension...
Indeed. My husband helped draft it. That does not warrant you to exceed your powers.
Catch him in the woods, on the roads, you have troops enough. But leave God-fearing people unmolested in their own homes.
Dick? There was some intelligence that royalist soldiers were seen in the neighborhood. Now, you've been about your work on the estate today.
Right.
And you've heard and seen nothing suspicious?
Nothing at all.
Cropper, are you quite sure no one in this house has behaved suspiciously?
Quite sure, sir.
Well, you have my leave to withdraw, Colonel Lecky.
I'm sorry to have disturbed you, Mr. Fletcher.
You're only doing your duty. Goodbye. I'm not well. I must to my room.
Lady Farah to see you, Sir Fletcher.
Susan, dear cousin.
Lucinda. This charming young lady has been telling me that her husband, a gallant old cavalier, languishes most painfully in prison. Her pleas for his release on grounds of common humanity have so far fallen on deaf ears.
Susan, Sir Austin is for Parliament. I'm sure he has no interest in Ralph's plight, sad though it may be. I beg you now will leave us.
Dearest cousin, I had no wish to intrude. But for what purpose are you come so late at night?
Aye, can you not speak in front of Lady Winter? You're both for the same cause.
Indeed, I have few secrets from Lady Winter.
Well, come and be seated by the fire, child, and tell us your mission.
I have Tom with me. Will you receive him?
Tom!
You know I will, at any time. Bring him in, Joshua.
Tom alive. And Edward too. Oh, God be praised.
Susan?
My dear cousin, how glad I am to see you.
Ralph is safe in prison. Susan is here to plead on his behalf.
Your humble servant, sir.
Welcome, Tom. Welcome to this hornet's nest of royalists. Have you got the king hidden somewhere, close by? In my summer house, perhaps?
I would not presume so much on your hospitality, sir. But it's true, Lucinda and I are come on something of a fool's errand.
Sit down. Speak plainly, lad. It'll not go beyond these four walls. You have my word on it.
I'm a fugitive. Together with Edward and the man I call my sovereign, Charles Stuart. We need a ship for safe passage to France.
And you come to a parliament man to save your king? There's logic for you. Are there no cavaliers with ships? No men that are heart and hand for the king?
They're either slain long since, or have taken the oath and were better off dead.
But you're asking me to act against my conscience.
Not so. Are there no men in England who can rise above this petty struggle? It was because I believed you to be such a man, from the affectionate way Lucinda spoke of you, that I came with my request.
Lady Winter argues a most interesting case. That I would not be acting against my conscience, but rising above it. I'm to provide bail for her husband and put one of my ships at the disposal of a man with a price on his head.
I think we have our answer.
Not so fast, young man, before you run off hot-headed to almost certain death. Sit down, both of you. In my philosophy...
I can cut through your philosophy, sir, and John's, as easily as I can cut a cropphead's throat and point to God for my witness.
Tom, let him speak.
Do me that much courtesy. In my philosophy, which is not Cromwell's, nor my son's neither, pragmatism is above most else. The merchant's view. Lady Winter, that property we were discussing before these laces interrupted us, where was it? On the coast?
At Porter's Head, beneath Bristol, where Avon and Severn meet.
It could be useful to me. I'll purchase it and secure your husband's bail. The fugitives can lay low at Bristol until I send one of my captains with a ship. Well, you have what you came for. Do you now question my motives?
Oh, Sir Austin. You've been a staunch friend to me and Lucinda through difficult times. My own life I count for little, but the King's I value most dear. I must have some assurance that this is
not a trick. Well, I can only give you my word, Tom. Put what value you will on that. I've made my offer. My head's in the noose.
Accept, Tom. What else have we?
Good. Then let us lay out the plan.
Will Jackson, mistress. Cousin to your bailiff, Mr. Walter Jackson. What a beautiful morning.
Indeed.
I remember Will Saltmarsh wearing this. It's the largest I can find.
Well, bundle it up then and take it to them. And tell my husband and Sir Thomas I shall be with them presently with the horses. Look!
Morning, mistress. I see you've met my cousin, Will. Will is staying with us. Getting over a sickness. Good dollops of fresh morning air is part of the remedy.
Walter, he calls himself Jackson.
Jackman, you heard, mistress. My young cousin Will as ever was. Come, Will. Anna is cooking breakfast for us.
John,
Anne, do not disturb me now.
I have seen the king.
What say you?
Not 10 minutes since. Walking in our garden.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
No, I'm not. I spoke with him. He was tall, over 6 foot, with a dark complexion, dressed as a countryman. And Walter Jackman hurried him away, claiming him for a cousin.
What of his speech?
It was plain, but he could not unteach himself in every detail. The way he walked. Do you doubt me still?
Jackman harbored him. Oh, stupid, bungling fools.
Who? Fools?
Fetch me Cropper and Dick Skinner. Fetch me Cropper and Skinner!
I'm not your servant.
Oh, Edward, my dearest. I'm so pleased to see you.
And are you, my sweet? Tom has told me of the plan. I must confess I'm fearful of it. Must Susan Winter accompany us?
She will guide us to the house. Your most humble servant.
No ceremony, pray. We're not at court now. Do I pass as servant to my Lady Farrow?
Never before has a lady had such a servant.
Come, we must away, Lucinda.
A dull, heavy jade, in truth.
Can you blame it with the weight of 3 kingdoms on its back?
Come. God
So many rumours flying about, it's hard to know what to believe.
What rumours?
Well, we had the King of England staying here last night. Minty swears that were him in the kitchen yesterday. Tell by his hand, she said. He'd never seen no outdoor life.
You believe everything Minty said? I'd have the devil supping here most nights.
If it were true, old Mrs. Dumfries sweating on it. She called him a booby, a dunce, and an imbecile.
What are you doing here?
And I welcome here, Walter.
They're looking for you. Mr. Fletcher wants to see you. Damn fool woman. What do you leave it lying round for?
You wanted to keep them.
You can tell Mr. Fletcher I agree wholeheartedly. The matter is already underway and shall be executed according to his wishes.
Aye, sir.
Where is your cousin now?
Gone home, sir. He only stayed there one night.
I know full well that you're lying, Jackman. Your cousin is the traitor and fugitive Charles Stewart.
Would I were so fortunate, Mr. Fletcher. £1,000 would not come amiss.
Your impudence. The man in your house was Charles Stewart, and by Act of Parliament you are guilty of high treason, punishment, loss of life and estate.
I should ask for proof, sir. And witnesses by law.
Don't quote me, the law, man! I was bred to the law! My wife witnessed him, Jackson. Now you bring me this cousin, that he may save your neck. And your wife's too. Aye, both of you. Was it so much to ask for? Loyalty for the hand that feeds you. Oh, it is not I, but God you must answer to, Mr. Jackman! I dismiss you from my service as bailiff of Anscott. Hand over your keys, your account, and all your properties, and be gone, with your wife from here by daybreak.
Oh, God have mercy. Where can we go?
No, Fletcher, sir. The Jackmans have worked on this estate for nigh on 4 generations. And things will go to ruin.
Damn you, Cooper! Will you have me dismiss you too?
No! Spare them! Dismiss me! It was I who persuaded them.
The good wife is sick. Take her to a room.
Mr. Fletcher, killing us would be more merciful.
Permit one question, Mr. Fletcher.
What?
Who is to follow me as bailiff?
Skinner. Dick Skinner is your natural successor.
Aye, sir. You couldn't have a better.
Walter?
Dick?
He must have thought it was me who'd told on him. It wasn't him. I knew nothing. And I wouldn't betray him, the dunderhead, if I had known.
You mustn't mind him. You're bailiff now. We can be married.
Someone there before us. Servant?
I do not know.
Stay concealed. I'll determine it.
Tom! My boy! This is indeed the hand of Providence, Your Majesty. You must pardon me the meanness of my hospitality. I arrived here myself but an hour since.
You had no word. We were expected.
Indeed none, sir.
But have you escaped from prison?
Not escaped.
I have sold this house to Austin Fletcher for your bail.
You have sold my house.
You instructed me, husband.
Well, so I did, my darling. And now I am homeless with my sovereign.
So if it was not escape and not bail, tell us, you old rogue, by what machinations we find you here.
Not machinations, my friend. You call it an act of God. I awoke one morning with a surfeit of boils upon my rump, so hideous in their appearance that my captors discharged me.
It is too much the hand of Providence that he has healed you. I've often feared this gallant old man.
If you're right, he's an instrument of your friend, Sir Austin Fletcher. Sir, into the next room, I beg you.
Is it not the captain of our ship? Open the door to him, Tom.
Your business, yeah?
Sir Thomas Lacey?
I'm Sir Thomas Lacey. Who sent you?
I'm the master of the Phoenix. I'm informed there be gentlemen here wish to be conveyed to France.
2 gentlemen, a lady and her servant. I believe my uncle, Sir Austin Fletcher, has sent you, has he not?
I know nothing of a lady, mistress. The Phoenix is but a small coasting vessel, hardly fit for a lady.
To speak true, Captain, we are 2 lovers eloping. My brother is helping us to escape the wrath of my father, and this is my servant. Will you not help us? Please.
You are married, Captain.
Am I not, mistress?
Then you understand a woman's love.
Too well. We'll sail on the tide in 4 hours. When I'm offshore here, I'll send the longboat to pick up the passengers. I'll go now, ballast the ship, warp her out of harbour. If the wind be favourable, we'll be out of sight of land before dawn.
My grateful thanks to you, Captain.
I commend you, Lady Farah. Your story of lovers touched my heart. And Ned's too, I've no doubt. 4 hours we have for sleep and food.
Lovers.
In exile once more.
Cannot live without you. I'd wither away. Days in London, not knowing if you were alive or dead. I have such dark forebodings, my dearest love.
Hush.
are betrayed.
Coming up from the shore. The ship! No sign of it.
The captain has betrayed us.
Sir, I urge you to ride from here at once.
If I must, but where?
I can escort you to the home of Colonel Francis Wyndham at Somerset. He's a friend of mine.
Frank Wyndham? I know him well.
We'll be safe there,
I'll
sir.
accompany you.
No, Tom, stay here with Lucinda, I beg you.
No!
It's too dangerous.
I see them coming.
Sir, through the back. There's not a moment to lose.
My troubles almost make me forget myself. I thank you all.
God save your majesty.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Sir!
Sit down. What means this intrusion, villains? Not a step further. Stand, I say. May a man not entertain his family in his own house?
Your name, sir?
Winter, Sir Alf Winter.
And your companions?
My son Thomas, my daughter Lucinda, and my lady wife, their stepmother.
We have intelligence. Charles Stewart is here.
That traitor in my house, never. Do you insult me? Who gave you this intelligence?
The wife of a sea captain, sir. It seems her husband gave her some notion that he had recognized the king here in disguise. A black man 2 yards high.
I can only assume that the woman or her seafaring husband, or you yourself, Captain, are either completely deluded or drunk on duty. Do you see a black man 2 yards high in our midst?
I ask your pardon, sir. The woman locked her husband in his chamber and reported the matter to us. We're only doing our duty. And we are quite sober, sir. I bid you all good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Sarah Sexator! More wine, Susan, to celebrate. Did you ever see a crop-head captain so put down?
Mr. Fletcher?
Ah, John, my boy. It's a few weeks now since you honoured me with a visit.
Or perhaps it's the company you keep, Father. But since you're here, Tom, Lucinda, no doubt you wish to hear the news I bring of your sovereign. He has safe returned to France, and Edward with him.
Oh.
They sailed from the Sussex coast in a coal brig these 4 days since.
God be praised.
So say we all. Eh, John?
Indeed.
What mean you?
Explain to them, my boy.
I could have captured your king any time I wished. Such was your blundering about Arnscott. And spoke with him in the garden. Jackson.
Why did you not take him then?
Does England want the head of another king in the space of 2 years?
My reasons also. When you came to plead for him.
Honourable reasons. And a brave decision, both of you. What would Cromwell say to it?
I think he would say it was the Lord's work.
Aye. We can't leave it all to Cromwell.
I wrote a letter to Father urging him to put a ship at your disposal.
Which I'd already done.
And another letter to Colonel Lecky sending him to Herefordshire, thus clearing the way. But still you bungled it. What is to be done with you now, Tom? You've broken your oath to Parliament, fought at Worcester, helped an enemy of England to escape, and you never rest.
Take me, hang me, do whatever makes you happy, John. I'm a fallen cavalier, malignant to the last.
All those that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Matthew, I think.
Well, you must hang me too, John, for I too have sinned against the saints.
They'll both stay here with me for the present. I'll find them occupation. Or a ship. In the meantime, they can help Walter Jackman put my estate in order.
Aye, Father. Jackman.
Well, a good bailiff is hard to come by, son.
You wish to keep a royalist house? You will suffer for it.
Aye, very probably. There must be some men in England above this dismal struggle. Call it an English house.